What's up, guys? Shane here again from the TwinSunz podcast. As you can see, today I wanted to bring you a deck breakdown of a nice little Darius Draven Freljord Overwhelm deck. Lately, we've been seeing a lot of these really cool, like most of the time they're Targon and Noxus, or they are Freljord and Noxus, and they're using Decisive Maneuver to stun an opponent as you're attacking with Overwhelm units, and then you give your whole board +2 attack, and you push through all this damage. So this deck's based on that, but it's a Freljord version, just so I can use some of the thicker Freljord bodies and some other splash cards that I find really cool. Been testing a lot for the seasonal tournament coming up, so it's a deck that I'm considering taking in. Just wanted to run some games with it today, and I've ran a few this morning, but I'm going to run a few more now. Probably won't take it straight into ranked. We'll just run into some normal games, but I'll go over the deck real quick, and then I'll jump into a little bit of the breakdown and some gameplay here. So as I switch over here, let me just also say real quickly, on our Twitter, we do plenty of giveaways. So as of late, just actually today, we just gave away $6 each to 2 different winners on PayPal, just for if you like and retweet, we pick out the 2 winners. And it was in honor of this guy's release, this Guardian. So we gave away 2 people $6 so they could afford to buy this guy. So we constantly are doing giveaways on Twitter. So you guys can follow us over there. We drop tons of money back into our tournaments and into our Twitter, and any support we get from the podcast between sponsorships and things like that, we try to dump right back into the community. So our money goes straight back out, which is really sweet. So any support that is shown is awesome. We're trying to push it right back into the community. So any likes, subscriptions, anything like that. So make sure to just decimate that like button for me, and subscribe if you're not. So let's break down the deck real quick. So we have, just calling it Overwhelm. Here we have, like I said, it's Darius Draven. So we'll go through it. We have 3 Omen Hawk, 3 Precious Pet, 3 Avarice and Sentry, 3 Ruthless Raiders, 3 Troll Chance, 3 Draven, 3 Iron Ballista, 3 Whirling Death, 3 Wolf Riders, 3 Decisive Maneuver, 3 Darius, 3 Ancient Yetis, 2 Battle Furies, and 2 Captain Farrons. Pretty nuts deck. Really, early, obviously you want to hit a 1-drop. Your 2-drops are solid as well. Really, we don't have a whole lot of draw options here, so Avarice and Sentry is just a good option to apply some pressure, but also just get a drawback, which is really important since we don't have much. And then after that, that's when things really start getting heated. So then you start having pretty much every unit you have after that is going to have Overwhelm on top of Ruthless Raider, but Draven himself doesn't unless he levels, but Iron Ballista has Overwhelm, Wolf Rider has Overwhelm, Darius has Overwhelm, Ancient Yeti Overwhelm, and Captain Farron Overwhelm. So the whole point of the deck here is to attack with large Overwhelm units, get their blockers in line. You can kill their blockers with Whirling Death, so then they have the invisible wall. But remember, Overwhelm, when it has the invisible wall, will just go straight to the Nexus. So killing the units that are blocking is a really, really good strategy, and you'll deal excess damage straight through to the Nexus, which is huge. You can also, like I said, Decisive Maneuver, if you weren't familiar with that, as I broke it down in the beginning of the video. This is stun an enemy and then give all your allies +2 attack. So when you're attacking and you stun something that is blocking your Overwhelm unit, it will get moved to the back bench. And just like when you kill the blocker, there will be no blocker there. So the Overwhelm damage will go straight to the Nexus. So that's a huge way to get a bunch of damage through. And Battle Fury on anything that's unblocked or on any Overwhelm unit adds 8 damage, which is pretty insane. And then obviously Captain Farron just for some endgame finish. Wolf Rider helps you get there a little bit quicker. And Ancient Yetis are really solid for if you see one early, you hold it in your hand. And then for very cheap, normally play it when you're at 1 or 2 mana. You can have a really big turn 5, turn 6, something like that. Really strong. So that's the deck. I'm just going to take it right in, and we'll play a game or 2 here. And I'll walk through some of my decision making. Move to the play tab real quick. Yeah, we'll run it into a game, and we'll, like I said, go through some of the decision making. So it's a pretty straightforward deck. It, has some good matchups, some bad matchups. It's a very interesting tournament deck if you're interested in tournaments now, because it does have a lot of weird, it counters things very specifically. It's a little bit of a polarized deck, but it also can catch people really off guard. Battle Fury is a huge card that costs 8, and not everyone's expecting that all the time, and there's just a lot of cool things. So for this hand, Whirling Death isn't terrible. It's a keep, but we don't have a 1-drop right now. Ancient Yeti is actually a great keep. We just want him to ride down, and we want to play him for 1 or 2 mana eventually. And a 3-drop's not too terrible going against this style of deck. So it's not the best mulligan here, but it is what it is. Looks like they're playing some fearsome style deck with Ionia splashed. We did nail our 2-drop, so that's good. Yeah, so we have a decent curve. We got this on 2, Yeah, so it's probably just a fearsome deck with probably Go Get It as their Ionia splash. So it can be a problem. They can definitely overwhelm us pretty quickly, but if we can get some thick bodies on board, we have a okay chance. So I'll play the Iron Ballista here. Yeah, I could. That at least gives me the option to block the Mist Wraith here, which we don't really need to do at the moment. So now we're at turn 4. We do have the option here to play the Ancient Yeti, but we want to let him get even a little bit cheaper. Draven's still a good option here for a nice attack, and we can even use a axe to get +1 attack so we can get into where we have to. Always nice when they miss their allegiance effect too. That always helps. So hopefully we get 5 damage on Nexus. That's pretty good. As long as we survive against their mid-range stuff, we should be sitting alright in a decent position. So pretty straightforward early curve. We're just kind of hanging out. Combat tricks are pretty good here. So now we're moving on to turn 5, and our Yeti only costs 3 now, which is great. So now we can have a turn where we can play the Yeti, we can play Precious Pet, and we could even... So we'll start just by putting this guy in front of here, and we'll see if he does anything. So you don't really want to overdo and just start playing Whirling Death right away. Right now, this isn't that threatening of attack. It's just 2 damage. He might go get it this. In that sense, I would probably Whirling Death it as a reaction. So I don't want to just start by playing my Whirling Death. So yeah, so that's what we're talking about. He's trying to do the go get it. So we'll try to kill it. We're not really worried about the 2 damage coming through to Nexus. And even after doing this, we still can afford both the Ancient Yeti and a Precious Pet in hand, which is pretty sweet. So we stopped the go get it play, which is great, and he did that in combat. It's the only way we can stop it. So I think here the Yeti is a solid play, and now we got to look at mana, because if we could play this early, it's great. So we're going to be at turn 6 with 1 mana, so that won't leave us open to Battle Fury, because we're only going to be at 7 total. So at that point, we'll just play the Precious Pet there, and we get a surrender for game 1. So as you can see, it just, you know, that he obviously had just made a play that we countered very well with a Whirling Death, and it caused kind of the steamrolling to go there. But that Ancient Yeti does swing a turn where you can actually be able to afford... It's not like you need to get it down to be 0, but he's so strong. If you can just afford to both do a combat trick and play a Yeti, and even we had the bonus of either being able to save an additional mana or playing another unit, it's huge. So that was a quick one. So we'll run another one here. And guys, if you have any questions about the deck, please feel free to ask in the comments below or in our Discord. We're constantly commenting back. Again, I'll use this time as a reminder. Like and subscribe. It helps us a lot. Helps the YouTube algorithm find the video. So we really appreciate when you guys do that. And yeah, that's it. So let's see how this deck runs. Looks like we're playing like a go hard deck here. A few of my other videos are kind of this style where I break down a deck for 3 to 4 minutes and then kind of dive into a game or two of it, which is always a fun video for me. So yeah, Farron, obviously we don't want him really late. He doesn't do anything. Starting with another Ancient Yeti, A-okay to me. And Ruthless Raider's great, and Draven's great. Ruthless Raider's pretty good against Elise if I need the block. Yeah, that's a great curve here. So 1, 2, 3, and Yeti is great. So we're happy with this curve. Obviously we could just have a go hard right now, but we didn't. So we get 2 damage through. Yeah, really, really solid curve here because, you know, we have the top end. That's not really as important. Whatever we're drawing is A-okay. But just having the access to this Yeti to get cheaper and cheaper is going to be really good. Alright, so I'm guessing he just drew that. I didn't see where he played from his hand. I wasn't paying enough attention, but... So we'll play Ruthless Raider. And we'll see if he plays Elise or not. No. So I have the option to just open attack, but... Draven is pretty much a free attack, so we'll play Draven first. So now if we don't have anything else, if we don't draw another unit that's solid, the Yeti on the starting hand does work as a 4-drop. He's still a 5/5 with Overwhelm, so it's A-okay to just play him at that. You don't have to get him down to 0 cost or anything like that. But obviously, you know, a turn like the game before when I can play him for 1 or 2 mana and still have mana to do like a Draven's Whirling Axe or anything like that is solid, or Whirling Death, I mean. But I mean, a 4-drop 5/5 with Overwhelm, you're not going to get much better than that for 4 mana, so. So he blocks here. Obviously, we would have liked to save this if we could have with Troll Chant, but at that point, we're kind of okay with that trade. So we'll most likely get this. Remember, this is a Shadow Isles deck. They have heavy removal. They have, you know, very strong, you know, Vengeance, all that type of stuff that they can run. Ruination and all that jazz, and the stuns from TF, and also they do have a lot of options. I'm actually going to hold off on playing the Yeti now that I drew a 3-drop, and just make the Yeti even cheaper. So yeah, we don't want to pass here. We could like try to get cheeky and pass. He can attack, and I'll probably have to just take it. But he might not, just based on his attack. I'm going to say, if people still play Elixir of Iron, you could not want the trade, but that's alright. So he's only going to be at 5 mana. No, but we got a Wolf Rider, so we're going to attack. So Wolf Rider is always an interesting option. So we'll open attack here, because we should get a damage through. That's why Wolf Rider is solid in this deck, because even if you just have... If they have enough blockers, if you have Overwhelm, you're going to get some damage through. And then we can drop a Wolf Rider. That just gets us closer to Farron, pretty much, or Battle Fury. That's pretty much the only reason Wolf Rider's in here. I mean, he also has Overwhelm, so he works really great with Decisive, but mainly he'll just put you closer to that. And this works out in the sense because now, again, my Yeti's just getting cheaper and cheaper. So there's going to be a turn where I can do multiple things here, like either play my second Draven if this Draven dies or anything along those lines. So most of the time, if you're playing TF Go Hard, it's always a mistake to play. You know, I'm not trying to critique this guy's play too much or anything, but that is a... normally you just want a blue card because you're just trying to dig for your Go Hards. I mean, it looks like he has a Go Hard. So, I mean, you definitely just want to keep digging. But we have the option to Troll Chant to save my Draven, but with a second Draven in hand and being able to play Yeti and that Draven next turn, I'm not too worried about it. So we're going to let him take that. And then next turn we should be able to play, depending on what we draw, we can afford both Draven and this Yeti for 5 mana. And still enough for that Whirling Death, so that's, I mean, in case there's a combat trick, it's really good. And then turn after this, we are getting to turn 8, so we're in Captain Farron range on my attack turn, which is great. We just can't allow... Oh, now actually I think we can. Biggest thing we can't allow is a Ruination to hit the board. Or a Pack Your Bags if he plays enough Go Hards. We just can't get a full board wipe. We need to have enough pressure before that. So, we'll end here. So he has 8 mana, so he doesn't have enough for the Ruination. He does have enough for just a Vengeance, obviously. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have 7 cards outside of Farron. So if I play Farron, he will make all 3 Decimates, which is really important. And if he Vengeances Farron, yeah, there's not really a big difference between me playing Farron and not. If he's going to use 7 mana to Vengeance it, it's still the same attack as an open attack. So that's what I'm kind of debating there is what should my attack be? Should I just open attack to not let him play anything or play Farron in case he doesn't have a Vengeance? Okay, so he has a Crumble, which essentially is going to do even, you know, a Vengeance would have just killed it, but now essentially my open attack is him having 1 less blocker on top of that, which is great. So we're going to discard an Axe now. And possibly even the second Axe, and the reason being is we didn't want to waste... So we were at 10 cards there. So we won't do the second Axe yet. We'll just attack here. He could block and use a Glimpse Beyond to stop Draven from striking.
You're bluffing.
But again, now these 2 units both have Overwhelm, so yeah, it makes more sense to block that. That just blocks more damage. Draven's the only thing without Overwhelm at the moment. Yeah, so we'll use the other Axe to see if he'll Glimpse Beyond the Twisted Fate or not. If not, it just levels up Draven. Now Draven's main reason just for leveling up is because he gains Overwhelm. Just helps the whole deck strategy as a whole. So we might as well try to level him up if we can. The Axes weren't doing a whole lot. In all honesty, Draven doesn't really belong in this deck for many other purposes other than really being a strong attacker on 3. A lot of times they don't want to block just because he's got quick attack, so you can normally sneak 3 damage through, and then an Axe or 2 can get you additional damage elsewhere if you need to poke 1 more damage through or anything like that. He rarely levels up. This is just one of the cases where I had an opportunity to level up because he got to strike so many times against chumps that I might as well have leveled him up. So we're feeling pretty secure right now. We still want to watch a Ruination by, you know, playing too much. So we can play a Darius, obviously, and level him, because his condition, again, is only having 10 or less health on the opponent's Nexus, which they're at 9. So that could work. So this is his 3rd Go Hard, which is going to... His next one will do 6 to everything, which is solid. So we'll start with just a Decimate. We can still afford Darius after this. But technically, we're showing lethal with just the amount of Decimates we have between this and next turn. But once he passes or anything like that, we will just pass an open attack for sure. But I'm guessing a pack your bags is coming. So we have a couple of different options here. So he's trying to siphon 2 more health, which is pretty strong. So we don't want to play another unit because he probably has the pack your bags. And we can't save anybody anyway, even with Troll Chant or not. So we will just decimate again. Put him down to 4, see how much more healing he has. The next turn we have the option to just open it with a decimate. Yeah, so he's blue carding to get there. I'm assuming he already has the pack your bags, which will again wipe my board, put me down to pretty low health. Yep, so 5 to everything. So we can actually, I always think it does 6 because I'm just used to the whatchamacallit. But yeah, we will, so we're going to save our Draven and lower the attack of TF. So we'll only have 3 damage going through. See if he has anything else he wants to do after that. But that'll put 5 everywhere, which will put us at 6, and then he'll be able to attack for 3, which we'll probably have to take. Although we might not take it, because then an atrocity actually wins him the game. So we're kind of down to some interesting decisions here. Yeah, so if we don't take this here, or if we do take this, it puts me at 3 health, which puts him in atrocity range. That's their ending nonsense. But if I also just do my let him die here, I'm not within atrocity range anymore. So I think we will do that. And then we will just go for the decimate kill, most likely. And require him to heal via fast speed. Which they don't really run Vile Feast or anything like that. So that might not be possible for him. So yeah, we will do the decimate to see if he has a fast speed answer. And he does not. So really, there's not much that he would have at fast speed because they don't run in TF Go Hard. They don't really run Vile Feast or anything like that because they want to really just run things that are, you know, they run like Glimpse Beyond, but mostly they don't run a ton of spells under 3 because when they play Zap Sprayfin, they want 100% to get a Go Hard. So, felt good. So those are the 2 games. So again, I will go through the deck to show you one more time as I close out here. But yeah, just an Overwhelm mid-range deck. That's a pretty good matchup for us, I feel, because we can just have, even though that was a pretty close game, I think I made the right call blocking there at the end and just putting the pressure on. But, you know, tight game. But I think it's a solid matchup. You know, we have a lot of options, a lot of damage goes through. They have a lot of chump blockers. That's what they rely on, using Elise and different things to chump block. But we do lots of Overwhelm damage, so we feel solid about that. And here's the deck, guys. I'll throw the deck code in the comments as well as in the description of the video, so make sure you check that out if you want the deck. And I appreciate you guys stopping by for the video. You know, if you guys can, throw me a like, throw me a subscribe. Just trying to make as much content as we can. Our goal currently right now is 4 to 5 videos a week. It'll be mostly coming from me. We have one other person on the podcast who wants to start putting out some content as well. That'll probably be post Christmas time though, so it'll be me for a while, and I'll be making these videos as much as I can. If you guys want anything else in particular, I saw a couple comments for more decks, more deck building, things like that. Throw the suggestions in the comments. Like I said, try to bang out as many videos as we can. Probably aim to do about 5 a week. Also, we are recording a podcast tonight with Janky Lore. He's a good streamer as well, and we've recorded with a ton of the dev team from Runeterra, Swim, Jeff Hoagland, a bunch of other big names as well. So that podcast, you can find multiple of episodes in our video list as well, but also anywhere else you get podcasts. So check out all that content on top of RuneterraCCG.com is a site where I write articles for as well. So you can get all sorts of content. Guys, I appreciate you staying this long. Have a good night.